see it. Class warfare, the only resort to right-wing doom? It's worth it. How to talk to your right-wing relatives, friends, and neighbors, and other books written by Egberto Willis. Welcome to Politics Done Right. My name is Egberto Willis, your host. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Harris County. Good morning to the great state of Texas. Good morning to Northeast Texas, Southeast Texas, Northwest Louisiana, Southwest Louisiana, and to every nook and cranny receiving the 100,000 watt signal from our transmitters into those magical boxes known as radios, aka the Howard Reynolds machines. Anyway, folks, we're going to have a great show for you today. I want to jump to the studio quickly because I am amped up for the way I want to start this program. So, studio, bring it in.
Ooh, you are amped up, huh?
Yes, sir.
Well, good. And on a Monday morning, we certainly need somebody amped up and somebody who's going to take us right out of that sleepy mode and right into our functioning mode. Let's throw it to Sandy real quick and see what he's got to offer this morning. Good morning, Sandy.
Good morning, Howard. Good morning, Egberto. And good morning to all those listening. We are in our second week of our fall fund drive. And good news, KPFT listeners, we are $27 away from halfway. So the next person to donate will likely take us over the halfway mark and on our way to our goal of $150,000 this fall. Takes a lot to keep Pacifica in Houston. It takes a lot to power KPFT, but there are a lot of people out there that have done it for a very long time, and it's a bad day to break the chain. 713-526-5738, option 1, or kpft.org. $74,973 collected from those 451 donations. Come on, folks. One more time. We can do it. Egberto, back to you.
Thank you, Sandy. Folks, don't forget, it's fund drive time, but we have a full and complete show for you today. So please hang around. We have a lot to talk about. Before we get busy, though, I have to go to our resident El Senor Jacques Van Beppe. How are you doing, my brother?
I'm doing good. How are you this morning, Egberto?
I am doing fine, sir. Talk to me.
All right, this is about the Supreme Court. After the election, the first thing we, the people, must demand is a fair and balanced Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has been corrupted by right-wing billionaires to take the side of corporate interests over the needs and desires of the people. The court has 6 conservative justices to 3 liberal justice makeup. So yes, it's out of balance. Citizens, this is a warning. You're dead in the water without a balanced Supreme Court of the United States. Dead in the water.
There's no doubt about that, Jack. There's no doubt about that. And interestingly, all that stuff of the Supreme Court fits in because we have a lot to talk about. I kind of want to start with Madison Square Garden and what we heard there. But before we do that, I want to tell the folks that are listening to us right now, all the people that are listening to us right now, you have a sense of bravado by one side in this election that believes they have it in the bag, even as the polls don't say that, right? The Ipsos ABC polls came out yesterday, 51-47. Kamala up 51-47. Of course, we are a swing state country, which means because we have yet to establish ourselves as a real democracy where every vote in every state has equal value, there are certain states that have each vote is weighted more because of this insidious thing known as the Electoral College, one of the worst parts of the Constitution, created so that a few could have ultimate control of our country if for some reason the people didn't vote the way the masters wanted or would have allowed the vote to occur. And that's why we have an electoral college. There's a whole lot more details we could go into, but that's not the purpose of the show today. Rest assured that anybody who's saying, we have this election in the bag knows absolutely nothing about the real American people and where their hearts lie, where they really are. I interact with Americans, all our American brothers and sisters every day. And what I saw in Madison Square Garden almost seemed like that dog looking for its last hooray, that dog looking, fighting back because it knows that it's all over. It knows that equity is going to beat up over privilege and much more. That was the first thing that got to me. That was what the word is that I should use. That actually touched me because of who I am as a person and who many of you have as people, was to have people on stage refer to my brothers and sisters in Puerto Rico as a floating island of garbage. That is the type of choices we have in this election. A side, a faction, let's be clear here. Let's be very clear. That's not the majority of Americans. A lot of people can be swayed, but that's not the majority of Americans. But when you have 20 something thousand people in Madison Square Garden, and I listened to it, I listened to the speeches, and you acquiesce to a comedian and others talking about the floating garbage in the ocean, when you refer to the immigrant as not pulling out. And by the way, we don't want you to pull it in either. We don't want you to come. When you talk with that vile, you almost give people permission to be violent. Those are the choices that we are making in this election. And you know what? I'm going to tell you something. As a black man, as a Latino, as a Caribbean, and guess what Puerto Rico is? An area that is Caribbean, black, and Latino, who are, in fact, every Puerto Rican, every single one, is an American citizen by birth. By birth. And to see a prospective president at a rally supporting people who came out, Tucker Carlson, and talked the way he spoke, that almost tells me, first of all, it tells me that that particular leader will not be president because that's not America. But if for some reason I am wrong, let me tell you, I've rarely been wrong in presidential picks in reading the data. If that is the case, then America isn't the America that we had grown up to think what and who America was. So Madison Square Garden made a clear distinction of what we're talking about. Anne is on line one, and then I'll continue with my soliloquy here. Anne, come on in, my dear friend. Sister Anne, come on in.
Please pardon my ignorance because I'm not quite sure how to understand what I'm going to be asking you. And I don't know if this is on your agenda at all for this discussion.
It doesn't matter, ma'am. This is your show.
Okay, thank you. I'm just wondering how this is permissible that I'm going to ask you for Elon Musk to be offering $1 million to each person who votes. We know that he did this at a Trump rally, so he's offering it to Republicans. And so I'll hang up and maybe you could just say, what this is all about and explain it so I can get it.
I will do that, ma'am. Thank you, Anne. I'll explain. First, let me explain the $1 million Elon Musk thing, okay? Elon Musk, the way he thinks he's skirting the law is it's an auction that he's doing, okay? In other words, if you signed up, if you're a registered voter and signed up to support the ticket in effect, promote the ticket, etc., you get into a pile and win $1 million. The expectation is a whole lot of people are going to run and sign up, and every day out of that pool that run to be a part of your team, he's going to donate $1 million, or they're going to win $1 million in the raffle. Well, quite a few people have said that that's sort of a way to skate around election law, and I believe that as well. But so far, we have a very timid and tepid Justice Department who just sent out and said we don't think that is legal, but they are not doing anything about it. So in effect, um, he thinks he skirted the law by the way he promotes it. But number two, we have a timid department or a timid AG who doesn't want to get involved with the election, so they don't do much. So in effect, it's going to be something that people are going to work on. Let me just tell you though, I don't find that very appealing. I don't see that that's going to have a lot of influence, because the people that Donald Trump is trying to reach now are called the bros, because there's no way they're getting the women vote. They are not getting, a lot of it is to try to get these voters that don't vote, the bro vote. And I see that falling apart. So don't sit back and worry too much about that. Just go out there and call your mother, your brother, your friends, your people, and say, hey, this is a vote where all Americans of goodwill need to go out there and vote. Anything else, Ann?
No, and thank you so much.
Thank you. You have a wonderful rest of your day, Ann. All right, Jacob, I'm coming to you in a minute, but I need to do a little bit of fundraising here real quick. Folks, so like I said, we have a full show, but I'm at a big zero right now. And like Sandy said, we need to raise the money to keep this thing on air. So give us a call at 713 I'm going to be pitching for about 2.5 minutes. So you can call right now if you say, I don't want to miss any of the program. I don't want to miss any of the program. So I'm going to wait. Please don't wait. Please go ahead and give now. Give me a chance to pitch for 2.5 minutes. And then by the time you're done donating on the phone or on the website, kpft.org, we'll be back right in time for what we're going to be talking about. Anyway, 713-526-5738, extension number 1 to support this program. Please, we are looking for sustainers or single donors. Sustainers mean I feel free to give KPFT a coffee a month. That's $5 a month. Or 2 coffees a month. That is $10 a month. Or, I want a brick that says I support this station. That's $25 a month. Or that's a 4x8 brick. I want an 8x8 brick, a big brick to support this program that's going to be there in perpetuity as long as KPFT exists. That is a $50 a month contribution, an 8x8 brick. So 8-inch by 8-inch brick. So please, there are many ways you can get a t-shirt, the Politics Done Right t-shirt, at $100 contribution. These are just gifts saying thank you so kindly for supporting our show. So I'm asking you folks, before I get back into the show, so that I can call your name out if you want me to, if you allow me to, based on what you answer in the code, call and thank you for being a supporter. That number is 713-526-5738, extension number 1. Go ahead and choose whatever you want, but consider $5 a month or $10 a month or even $15 a month. 1, 2, or 3 coffees a month. You can also do this at kpft.org, kpft.org. Hit the donate button and then click remember to select Politics Done Right as the program you are supporting. Hey, I got one of the good things. That stuff. Have Coffee with Egberto, a $250 contribution. It's to KPFT, and we have a Coffee with Egberto. We sit down, drink some coffee, shoot the bull, talk whatever we want to talk about, etc. Hey, we've done it several times before, and it turned out good. Easy guy to get along with. We have fun. I can tell you that. We have fun sitting down and talking whatever you want to talk about, even what I want to talk about too. And really chill out. I have folks on the, I see Eric on the chat. Eric has done that. We've done that Coffee with Egberto before, and several others have. $250 contribution, Coffee with Egberto. Let me throw it to Sandy. Folks, call now as Sandy's speaking as well, so that we can go ahead and get this stuff started. Sandy?
Thank you, Egberto. Yeah, $10 a month or $5 a month is something that a lot of us could part with in support of KPFT, and it goes a long way. A sustaining pledge, first off, is matched with a $50 bill. So say you can do $5 a month. That's a $60 annual pledge. There'll be $50 added by an anonymous, very generous donor in our midst, and will get us to our goal that much faster. If you can do $10 a month or $120 a year, one of our thank you gifts on this Monday morning, which really is top of mind for me, is our KPFT Caroline Street coffee combo. That's a 1 pound bag of Lola Savannah roasted coffee beans and Caroline Street mug. So you get them both for a $10 a month pledge. Coffee with Egberto or coffee by yourself with a KPFT mug. No matter how you slice it, you get your coffee, which I think on Monday morning is, again, top of mind. Please do call 713-526-5738, option 1, or mouse it over to kpft.org and click that donate button. Thanks, folks, for donating. We're just about halfway up to our goal, overall goal on the drive again. And let's keep it rolling here, and we will be done with this thing by Tuesday, November 5th. You cast your vote, hopefully for KPFT in the form of a pledge, and hopefully cast your vote and as an American citizen for our next president, senator, and so on down the line. So important. Back to you, Egberto.
Thank you so kindly, Sandy. Hey guys, I'd expected to within that 2.5 minutes to get somebody to say thank you too, in case it's still coming through. Not to worry, I will break in again and thank you if it gets there. Before I get on to the Wall Street, the Washington Post, and the New York and the LA Times, which is an important part of this story, let me go ahead and ask Jacob to come in. Folks, don't forget that telephone number is 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. Extension number 1 to donate, extension number 2 to be on air. Folks, give us a call. 713-526-5738. All right, let's go to Jacob and get Jacob on the line, see what my brother has to say here. Jacob, you will be hot in a minute. Well, in a few seconds, I imagine. But anyhow, until Jacob gets here, there we go. Jacob, you're on.
All right, Capasso to all my amigos, Humboldt Park in Chicago, the Bronx in New York, all across the country. You know what I'm saying? I mess with
Yes,
them guys.
sir.
But we got to be honest, Umberto. As far as Puerto Rico, the island, if you look at Puerto Rico, the island, now it is a United States territory, but they're pretty much running it. They're pretty much running it, just like with Haiti. If you look at Haiti, man, they pretty much running it too. You look at the Dominican, they pretty much running it. I don't understand. If you look at it, man, it looked like something like a third world country. It's the truth. And I don't understand why the people there itself don't clean it up. Don't clean it
All
up.
right.
Don't, government, don't. If you look at it, I mean, because it's, well, I
I'm
know
gonna
why.
Jacob. You're my brother, but I'm gonna stop you right there. I'm gonna look at you and say, let's stay here in America. Let's forget about Puerto Rico. Let's forget about Haiti, and let's forget about the Dominican Republic. I'll tell you a quick little story. A quick little story. My daughter, before she had her first stroke, was in med school. And by the way, she did finish med school, but she won't be able to practice doctor because she's had 2 strokes. But she's home and she's getting better. She wants to be a teacher now. But listen to this. Um, very proud of her for what she's gone through. I'm proud of my daughter, like you not mentioned. Anyway, um, uh, my daughter was working for in the summer, working for a company, a medical company, trying to make things better in different parts of Appalachia. And I remember my daughter calling me with her friend in the car as they're driving around from town to town, and she called me in shock. I don't remember if it was in Ohio or West Virginia, one or the other. But she called me for both. And she said, Dad, you would not believe this is America. And my daughter's been to Cologne, the city where I am from, and the worst parts of the city where I am from, which was to her a shocker as well. Okay. And she says, I never forgot, she said, Dad, some of these places look worse than the worst part of Colon, Panama. And for my daughter to say that as she's driving around helping people, she was going around in these different towns. These are things that Americans don't see. So we get a chance to talk as if we are, right? The star, shining star, because what's promoted to the rest of the world is New York City, LA, Houston, the good parts of those cities, that is, right? I remember when I was in Panama and signing up to come to a university, etc., and ended up at my first scholarship was at Blinn College. I spent a year there before I went to UT and got my engineering degree at UT. But driving through all these little towns, etc., that wasn't, when I saw this, I'm like, oh my God, am I in the wrong country? My my reason for telling you that, Jacob, is be careful. I've been to Puerto Rico. I am from Panama. And there are places in Puerto Rico that looks much nicer than what you see here in Houston. And there are places in Puerto Rico that look just like the worst towns in Appalachia. So the image that, or I can say the same thing about the image that folks will have about Africa and Nairobi. And if you go into Nigeria, in certain parts of Lagos, oh, look at all the trash and look at how that looks. And then I take you to a few inserts in Lagos, and it's like, oh my God, that is primo. These are rich folks. Let's not fall for the okie doke. That's what the media wants you to believe. That clown that went out there on stage and called Puerto Rico the garbage of island that he's talking about needs to look inside. Don't fall for it, brother Jacob. Don't.
Yeah. Tucker Carlson, man, we know Tucker Carlson is a clown. All of them are clowns, bro. We all know it.
Thank you.
So, and I've been around and I've seen, I'm from Chicago. I've seen sides, back in the day when it would look like a disaster.
A war zone.
And with a war zone, abandoned buildings, like the same thing in the Bronx. Abandoned buildings, trash.
Right.
I'm not saying that, though. I'm not saying that. Because what I was really going to say also is I know why it looked like that in some parts of the area because of the resources. It's the resources and some of the people that might be their own people that might get the resources, just like in Haiti, and they harbor it amongst a little small group, just like like in Chicago right now. The same thing. They harbor it among, that they elect, that harbor, and they just a select group that they keep the money and funds around their own instead of doing the job and doing it and building up. So that's all. And then lastly, I want to ask you a question. Now, when you say Latino, were people in Spain who Spanish come from, are they Latinos?
Actually, they're Hispanic. Okay, we use Hispanic and Latino interchangeably, but Latinos just mean that you're from a Latin speaking.
I'm talking about Europe, Spain, and Europe.
Yeah, I know. That's what in Spain. So you're talking about the country Spain. The country Spain, they are not Latinos. They are Hispanic. Okay. Now the people from Latin America, meaning south of the United States, Mexico, even Brazil, Latino doesn't mean just Spanish. It means a Latin-speaking language, and that would be Brazil, which speaks Portuguese. That would be Panama, that speaks Spanish, etc.
But Spanish is from Spain, so I don't get it. But Latin is
right.
Also
but here's a funny thing. Here's a funny thing a lot of people don't know. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I spoke over you.
No, I'm just hang up, man. Of course, I enjoy your show as a user. You know what I'm saying? All right, man.
Thank you, brother. You have a good day, sir. Take care. But yeah, look, we use Latino and Hispanic interchangeably here. But if you call a person from Spain Latino, they actually get offended. I don't know why. They the folks from Spain think they're a cut above Latinos, right? Because, well, that's a long other story. But anyhow, all right. The telephone number is 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. Extension number 1 to donate, extension number 2 to speak. Folks, I've started with a slow morning. And I tell you what, I want to get into a little longer subject here. So what I'm going to ask Sandy to do is give us a pitch, hoping that somebody will call for me to thank so I can get into the other subject. Sandy, are you there?
I am there, Egberto. Thank you. Yes, we are now at 25 minutes after, still looking for that first pledge of the morning. Egberto works extremely hard on this show. I'll let you know that. He just finished 6 years of board service for us, local station board and national board. This guy is providing this show, which so many people are listening to and have already donated to, for absolutely no charge. Volunteer, as so many of us are at KPFT. All we're asking with your donation is that we have a place, 4504 Caroline Street, from which to broadcast, a transmitter up on the northwest side of town, off Houston North Fairbanks, that operates cleanly. All we ask is the funding for those things and all the other accoutrements that go with the $52,000 a month bill to continue, to make sure that there's a place to provide commercial-free, unbiased radio for Houston, media for Houston that's not influenced by the commercial dollar. You know, there's a lot of speculation about presidential polls, if they're accurate, the media, who owns it, what they're writing, and how they're presenting. It's all dependent on that commercial dollar. Ask Fox. Ask Fox, who went so far as to getting sued for millions and millions and millions of dollars for bold-faced lies, which they're continuing today. Why? Well, people are watching. And when people watch commercial sponsors, they'll pay big bucks for that airtime. And in return, you get the BS. Not quite the complete equation. KPFT does not have the pressure of the commercial dollars. Not at all. You are our sponsors. So we're looking for our first sponsor of Monday morning, first sponsor for the show. Our goal is $300 for the program, and it's very easily accomplished. Just 3 of you doing a $10 a month sustaining pledge accomplishes that goal. For those of you with sustaining memberships already, maybe you've got a $5 membership, why don't you up that to $7.50, another $2.50 a month, or $30 a year, if you can. Don't take it out of your food budget, pay your electric bill, but if you can provide a couple of extra marginal dollars a month, it's meaningful. Call 713-526-5738, option 1, or go to kpft.org and click donate. Don't forget, we have our Need to Feast fund drive going here with a fajita dinner with Ricky Scardo hosting. That's on November 13th. In December, on the 7th, we're going to be on Clear Lake with Ronnie and Tom, the R&R guys, for a 3-hour tour. And in January, we'll be at Under the Volcano for a Sunday brunch. All three events. You can put yourself down for a seat, a ticket, a meal, a good time sharing laughter and conversation with like-minded people for $1 a day, $365. The fajita dinner, the cruise, and the brunch. It's a lot that I'm talking about. It's Monday morning. I still need more coffee to really fully engage with planet Earth here, but I hope you're in a position to make that first pledge. One more time, our phone number is 713-526-5738, option 1, or kpft.org. Power that little house on Caroline Street where all good things come over the airwaves. Egberto, back to you.
Thank you so kindly, Sandy. And we have someone to thank from last week that I didn't. My fault, Claudia Croson. I really appreciate your sustaining membership. Let me tell you, we could not do this without all of you great people out there. So, Claudia, muchas gracias. Thank you so kindly for being a supporter of Politics Done Right. There are times, we get these things, and the day after, I really should read those that come in afterwards. And hey, sometimes I forget, so forgive me, but thank you so kindly for your contribution. As Sandy said, folks, 713-526-5738, extension number 1. 713-526-5738, extension number 1 to contribute, extension number 2 to speak on air. All right, I want to talk about, the word of the day of the week has been fascism. And a lot of people are getting upset that many are calling Brother Trump a fascist. I shouldn't say Brother Trump, because when I speak about my brothers and my sisters, I'm talking about our people at large, the people that I genuinely care for, which is all of Americans. But I do not care about, I'll be very honest, I do not care about many politicians, and specifically Donald Trump. MAGA folks are my friends. Conservative folks are my friends. Liberal folks are my friends. Progressives are my friends. Anarchists are my friends. But Donald Trump and politicians that are creating the dissension within America, they are not my friends. Whenever we hear that Donald Trump talks about the enemy within, I don't classify it as enemy within. I call it the people of no positive purpose for our society. I'm not calling them enemies, or I'm saying they just don't need to, we just don't need to follow them. But that's it. That's it. Fascism, by definition, we know what it is. And the worst part of fascism isn't what the authoritarian tells you to do. It is what you do to please the authoritarian without him or her asking. In other words, when you start modifying your behavior, when you start harming people, when you start doing all these things because you think that is what your Führer expects of you, that is when you know you've turned the corner. And let me say, Donald Trump has not been elected. Okay, let's just be clear here. Nor do the numbers really say that he is going to be elected. But what is interesting is that billionaires who are dependent on the government, who suck on the you-know-what of the government, because remember that what I've told you many a times, billionaires, there are not billionaires who've earned their billions. And I'll ask a billionaire to call me. Let's discuss how you earned your money. Any single billionaire, please give us a call. They aren't going to call. Who the hell is this little funky radio station or what? We're not a call. But you should. Because I can tell you categorically, no billionaire has earned those billions. The people that have always earned has always been you. You are the backs that all those billions were made on. But, like I said, what fascism depends on. Here's the deal. Fascism is a far-right form of government in which most of the country's power is held by one ruler or a small group under a single party. Fascist governments are usually totalitarian. Not usually, they are always totalitarian and authoritarian. Now, remember what I also said, that what they want, the best form of fascism is when you don't have to tell your subjects or the people dependent on you what to do. They just do it by fiat. Okay, let's stop. Last week, the Washington Post, after calculating what one presidential candidate's policies would mean to America, what the other presidential policies would mean to America, what one presidential temperament would mean to America, what the other presidential temperament would mean to America, they made a choice. They made a choice. And that was, they thought Kamala Harris deserved their endorsement, just like the New York Times, a paper that I have serious problems with, also determined that they believe Kamala Harris was the choice, the better choice for the presidency of the United States. Well, the Washington Post came out with their analysis, and felt that Kamala Harris was the more prudent person to have as president of the United States, as well as did the LA Times, who thought that the president should be, based on policy, should be Kamala Harris. Unlike the past, where editorial boards were not controlled by the owners of the paper, or the owners of the papers never got involved with editorial decisions, not this time around, baby. Not this time around. This time around, what happened was that Jeff Bezos, who owns the Washington Post, prohibited, I repeat, prohibited the Washington Post, one of the most progressive papers in America. Make sure to go out there. And when I say progressive, I'm not talking about liberal. I'm talking about progressive, meaning it reports the news as is. They were prohibited from going out there and putting out their endorsement for the presidency. That is the definition of fascism. When you have even your media controlled by the Führer. And in this case, the Führer isn't even elected or installed. They are just hedging their bets that in case that Führer is installed, given that we have all these contracts to build spaceships, given that we have all these contracts for cloud services to the government, billions of contracts, in case President Trump is elected, we don't want to be on the bad side of the Führer. We don't want to be on the bad side of the fascists. And who is Elon Musk's good friend? None other than the owner of the LA Times. And he as well told Garza, the chief editor, you cannot print that we support Kamala Harris, that we endorse Kamala Harris. So what did the billionaire who owned that newspaper, the LA Times, Patrick Soon-Shiong, said, we are not endorsing this year. We're not endorsing this year. That is fascism, folks. Fascism. No longer are you going to be able to hear real news. That, assuming, let's say that the improbable happens, that Mr. Trump were elected. That's the end of the journalism as you knew it before, because they've already shown you what they are, the proclivity, what they have to do. They said, we are going to pull our endorsement because it'll upset the Führer. We are going to pull that endorsement because that person would be upset. That is the future if people vote for one side as opposed to the other side. But I want to allay all the fears that people have, okay? Listen to this. For those of you that are fearful, I want you to hear these numbers. Nothing is in stone, but you have to go out there and vote your conscience, vote your heart, vote for America, vote for who America is supposed to be. But just if you want to know, Harris is ahead by 30 points with Hispanics. She's ahead by 19 points with suburban women. She's ahead by 74 points with black men. She's ahead by 88 points with black women. She's ahead by 22 points with college graduates. She's ahead by 4 points with white men with college degrees. She's ahead with 23 points with white women with college degrees. That is why Trump and his allies are trying to play the pompous thing like, oh, we're winning, because they hope that people will jump on a bandwagon that says winning. Look, the winner isn't available until all votes are counted. But I know America as a country of good people. Know America of a country of women who have pride in themselves. I know America as a people who lead and want to be and continue to be the leaders of the world. Yesterday, JD Vance said Russia is not the enemy. He didn't say the negative. He said the opposite of that. What he said is Russia is not is someone that's not the enemy. Something to that effect, he said. And they pressed him and pressed him and pressed him, and he continued and he refused to say the reality of what Russia is to America. You think about it. Our European allies are scared. You know what? They are scared. I am not scared. I am fairly confident because I live in America and I know the soul of America. Again, I repeat, the soul of America. That that what you saw in the Madison Square Garden, it was like going into the nook and crannies of people who are disgruntled and can hold that belief in one place. And if you have them in one place, it seems like a lot of people. But I can tell you, folks, if America goes out to vote, if the people go out to vote, we get to see who America really is. And that's what you're going to see on Tuesday, November 5th. Come on in, Harry.
Good morning, Berto Willis. Good morning to Jack. Good morning to Howard. Good morning to Sandy. Well, I was talking with my Make America Hate Again friend in Florida who is too chicken to call you so you can enlighten him and educate him. And he was telling me last night, because he watched that thing in Madison Square Garden, but he was telling me about Kamala Harris's rally. And I haven't heard anything about this. When Beyonce was there with Kamala here in Houston last week, they said that he told me that because Donald Trump mentioned this, I think on that Joel Rowan show, that they booed Kamala Harris when she came out. Did you hear anything about that?
It's not true. It's not true. Let me tell you what you had at the in Houston. Just like you have everywhere else, right? By the way, we do a lot of bird dogging. Anybody who's an activist know what bird dogging is all about. Bird dogging is a place where you go, you raise hell at the opponent's place, and we had a few stragglers that came into the arena, and they made it. And you know what she told them? She told them, "Oh, by the way, the Trump rally, that small Trump rally, is really in Austin where he's doing the Grogan show." That's all. So no, don't. It's
Right.
look. They create stories. They try to create a narrative, but generally it is a false narrative. Continue, my man.
Because I didn't hear it. I didn't hear anything about that at all. And Trump was up there, or my friend was telling me, because I took his word for it, that Trump was saying that they booed Kamala Harris. Did you
No,
see what happened when she came out there with Beyonce? Beyonce, they booed her, and then she had to pause before she could talk. And I said, well, I haven't
no,
heard any of it. I haven't heard it
it's
on
not
the radio,
true.
NPR, AT&T. So he told me, ask your friend Berto to see what he says. So that's why
Yeah,
I called.
yeah, no problem. Let me tell you, it is a joke. Again, like I said, the Ipsos poll, I think it's a final Ipsos poll that came out. And you know what they wanted to do is see if there was this shift that everybody was talking about. And like I told you guys over a month ago, I know folks, okay? And a lot of times the way you win is to if you're is to put a poker face on. You're losing, but you make believe you're winning, so you scare the winner into, oh my God, it's all over. And that's what they're trying to do. And folks like myself, independent media is trying to prevent that from happening, to let folks understand, go out there and make your vote count. Thank you very much, Harry. It's not true. You have a wonderful rest of your day, sir.
I think it was.
All right. Anyway, folks, listen to me. We got to do a little. I'm coming to you, Bard, Mike, Jim, but we got to do a little bit of fundraising because I'm still at zero. And I know there are people that are listening that are willing to support. So please, folks, give us a call at 713 526 5738, extension number 1. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. Can you consider giving a coffee a month, or 2 coffees a month, or 3 coffees a month, $5 a month, $10 a month, whatever you can, to support this program? I told you that story about the Washington Post and the LA Times. These owners of these papers are dependent on the government, so they're hedging their bets in case Trump gets elected, so they're not going to tell the truth. Each of their editorial boards endorse Harris, but their bosses told them they could not put that out. They couldn't put that out to the public. Now, when you have an independent station like KPFT 90.1 FM, we don't have those pressures. First of all, none of us are billionaires or anything even close, right? So we can actually be there as a true arbiter of truth for you. And that's what we do here. The only thing comes out of my mouth is the truth. And I don't ask you to take my words at face value. I ask you to corroborate as needed. And if for some reason you ever find that I've said something that is incorrect, and you tell me, you can bet your bottom dollar that it'll be corrected, and corrected quickly. I don't play, because I absolutely believe in factual information. In fact, Politics Done Right and my websites are all rated, and they're all rated as highly factual by independent fact checkers. All right, let me go to Sandy to try to get him into the mix here, and then let's raise some money.
Thank you, Egberto. Well, we're still waiting on that first pledge this morning, which is curious because we're 46 minutes into the program. Folks, don't let KPFT go untendered on this Monday morning. Again, we have a $300 goal. We're $300 away from achieving that goal. So easy to do when just a few of you make that decision to step up. I want to ask those that have never pledged to KPFT before, provided even a small dollar, that have maybe listened for a long time, to consider that you're hearing the station based on donations from everybody else that donates except you. You haven't done it yet. Please consider that small donation. $35 will make you a member, $25 if you're financially distressed. It's not much to ask, but when you do that, when you make that move, you will look at KPFT completely differently, in that you have ownership. You will feel like you have joined in with thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people over 54 and a half years, not millions, that have supported this station. 451 donations have been made this drive. If you haven't pledged, you're not one of them. So consider that. If you haven't pledged in a long time or never pledged, dial the number. Pick up a KPFT t-shirt or a Politics Done Right t-shirt, $100, or an embroidered KPFT cap for $150. All kinds of thank yous are available, all kinds. But right now, I'm focused on thanking that first person on this Monday morning. Don't let this go. Don't let this go. It's really important that we make our goal here. 713-526-5738, option 1, or kpft.org, and click the donate button. And again, if you can do a sustaining pledge, it's matched with $50. So 3 of you at $10 a month will get us to our goal on a sustaining basis. Be the first. 713-526-5738, option 1, or kpft.org. Egberto.
Thank you so kindly, Sandy. Yes, folks, we are still at zero. And I know you like the show. I know you like what we have to bring. Most importantly, because it is your show and you get a voice. You get the option to say your piece, no matter what part of the political spectrum you're on. As you can see, in fact, right now I am looking at my screen, and if it's the same people I'm looking at, we have people from all over the spectrum about to speak. So I tell you what, give us a call now, please. 713-526-5738, extension number 1. And, again, give whatever you can, $5 a month, $10 a month, or whatever, $100 for our KPFT Politics and Right T-shirt, or Coffee with Egberto, $250. Hey, that would help us get to our quota rather quickly. Somebody wants, say, do that one, $250 for Coffee with Egberto. Or folks, go to kpft.org and make those selections. Remember, select Politics and Right. Let's go to Bart. Come on in, Bart. How you doing this morning, sir?
Good morning, sir. Thank you for taking my call. Yes, Harry, the people were there to see Beyonce sing. They were not there to see Kamala speak. So when Beyonce didn't sing, they automatically booed Kamala. And that's what happened there. That's the truth. And also to Jacob. Jacob, if you want to see Haiti, Dominican Republic, Google search the borderline between those two communities, and you'll see the truth. There's not a tree or
Okay,
a blade of grass.
wait a second. I want you to go into something with that, Bart. Okay, because one of the things that I wish more people would think of is narrative and intellect. You just made a statement that is very true. You can see a tree line between Dominican Republic and Haiti. And what's the reason for that, sir? What's causal? What's causal?
Is they heat their homes with charcoal in Haiti, and so they cut down every tree.
And why do they have to do that? And why do they have to do that? Why do they have to do that, sir?
Because they're a third world country that can't develop electricity or natural gas to heat their homes, and they,
Okay, and why do you think that is the case, sir? And why do you think that is the case, sir?
They have 300 days per year growing cycle. They could grow any crop available known to man.
And why don't they do that? And why don't they do that, sir? You gave an important stuff. And why don't they do that, sir?
That's a good question. I don't know.
All right. Okay. Great. And stop right there. And that is the question. That is where I wish, before people come on and create a statement like you did, that people just asked a few questions. People ask questions like, what happened to rice farming, etc., when the United States passed laws to protect the American farmer, which really stopped the importation of Haitian rice, which also degenerated the Haitian economy. You see, here's the thing. You complain about people coming to our borders, yet much of the policies that we passed affected the people in those particular countries to benefit us. It's the same thing when we go extract bauxite from Jamaica, when we go ahead and extract different uranium from different places. We many times are causal to the economic disruption in these other places that creates the migration right here. And then we want to say, close the border. Bard, thank you for giving me the opportunity to make that. No, you're my brother. Hold on, Bard. Bard, Bard, stop. I just informed. Bard, stop. I just informed you. You go into a country and disrupt its economy. Don't expect that country not to come here to try to correct some disruption. Thank you so kindly, Bard. You have a great rest of your day. Let's bring on Mike. Mike, you're on. Mike? Okay, let's, one more second. Are you there, Mike? All right, let's go to Jim.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
A couple things. I'm so glad you were talking about seeing the truth, clear up some things about Russia. Western Ukraine overthrew their lawfully elected government. So there's some issues about the truth that, and I'm not a Trump guy, okay? We fomented that revolution, barred people from voting, ethnic Russians. They banned the language, drove those people to the east, and bombed them for 7 years. by normal standard, that's ethnic cleansing when you do that, right? But that's not the way the legacy media played that out.
Okay, let's
So,
stop you right there. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that. I'm not going to dispute that because I don't have in. I think you're talking about the Bontis area of Ukraine, and I don't have the full true story of that area quite. I
then
really
you
don't
should
because
know what the facts are.
no. Let me finish. Let me
Know what
finish.
the facts are
No,
because it's
no.
true,
Here's what.
right?
No, here's what I'm telling you. I am honest. I hear both sides of that story. Okay? I hear both sides of that story. I have no way, as an independent journalist here in the United States, of knowing exactly which one is true. Okay? I don't know which one is true. You decided that you would accept one as true. I decided I don't know which one is true. But let me give you a corollary, I mean, a parallel, because using your own words, you claim that the bombing on that area of Ukraine was ethnic cleansing, which I'm not going to deny. Okay, if that's what occurred, that would be ethnic cleansing. Just no different than the folks in Gaza calling Netanyahu a war criminal for bombing Gaza into powder. That then should have the same weight that you just gave it. But you see, when you talk about how our media reports, that is exactly how we report. We report instead of telling just the truth of the way things are, we misrepresent it based on who we think people are in those select areas. Hey, folks, let me see. We're still waiting on our first country. I'm coming
One
back to
more
you,
point,
Jim. Hold on.
please.
Wait, Jim, hold on. Folks, we're still at zero, my dear brothers and sisters. I don't think we've had a 0 day this cycle. Please don't leave it at zero. You know we're bringing you real information that we work hard to present. So I'm asking you kindly, please give us a call at 713-526-5738, extension number 1 to support the program. Give whatever you can, or you can go to kpft.org. I would love to thank you on air like right now. So please give us a call, 713-526-5738. Sorry for interrupting you, Jim, but you know we're in Fund Drive, so I have to kind of mix things up.
Well, I understand, and here's another point about this. So
Yes, sir.
the United States government overthrew. Well, the United States government approved of the overthrow of the duly elected president of Ukraine when that happened in 2014, the Maidan Revolution. We accepted that, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But then when we had a Capitol protest, we threw those people in jail, okay? Duly, because they committed criminal acts. But when it comes to overthrowing a government that we don't like, it's A-okay. So that's a huge problem with that.
Brother, you are saying modus operandi. Jim, why are you talking like that if you don't disagree with me? Okay, first of all, that's what we do all over the world. Let's look at what's happening in West Africa right now.
I know.
You don't hear about it in the United States. You don't hear about us being kicked out of which is a town, Barca Falsa. I think I don't remember which country we're now being kicked out of. Why again? Yeah, we want to control these different parts of the world, and if they do what we tell them to do, we're happy with them. If they don't do what we tell them to do, we overthrow them or invade them or cause somebody else to invade them. That has always been our modus operandi. I'm from Panama. Huh? What you call it?
It's called spreading democracy. Spreading democracy.
I love the way you said that. Hey, Jim, I got to go to some more calls. Brother, I got to go to some more calls.
One more point on the Mexico thing. Okay,
yes.
so NAFTA, when NAFTA was enacted, it destroyed the Mexican and Central American agricultural community because Monsanto was allowed to come in there and buy land. And now you have to buy your seed from Monsanto. Invite some Mexican nationals to talk about
Ye-
this because
I
they're
got
the
to I
ones
got to
that
do a
know.
I got to do a station ID. Before I do the station ID, I wrote the book on that, brother. As I see it, class warfare, the only resort to right-wing doom. And why did I do that? I explained what Monsanto did with their seeds and all of that. Let me tell you something. That's the problem I have with too many people. They don't get deep into this deep enough. They can get as deep as they want. They don't get deep enough. Anyway, thank you so kindly, Jim. Jim, you're a smart guy. I hope when you vote, you're going to be having a smart vote as well. Thank you so kindly, my brother. You have a wonderful rest of your day. Folks, this is KPFT 90.1 FM, Houston. Thank you so kindly. Ravi is a repeat donor. I need to thank Ravi because I know Ravi has given before. I know Ravi has given before. And Ravi, in order for us not to have a zero, it's clear. Thank you so kindly for your kind heart, sir. He decided to start us off. Think about that. We have great, great listeners. Ravi hears that we are at zero for the morning, and Ravi ensured that politics done right was not going to stay at zero. Ravi, I thank you kindly. I would hope, because you give all the time, thank you kindly. Could other people, maybe that have never given before, maybe that have said, I'll give the next day or whatever, join Ravi and support the program? You know that what we're given is valuable. You know, even as this election cycle goes through, we're going to be giving you valuable information. Ann was the first caller this morning. Ann was on and needed some information that would set her mind at ease, because that is what truth does, right? And that's who we are. I ask you kindly to give us a call at 713-526-5738 extension 1. Can you give us that coffee? Can you get that shirt? Can you have coffee with Egberto? $5 a month, $10 a month, $100 for the t-shirt, $250 for coffee with Egberto? Whatever you can. Please, I want to thank you just like I thank Ravi again on air. Ravi, muchísimas thank you so kindly. All right, let's go to Fabian, line number 3.
Good morning, Heriberto. First of all, I wanted to thank you for everything you do. And then I wanted to add to your point that you've been saying. You know, people complain all the time about illegal immigrants coming to the U.S. Like you said, what have we done to those countries? We take Mexico as an example. Yeah, we complain that a lot of drugs come from Mexico. What about all the illegal guns that go into Mexico that feed the cartel, that make that possible? What about the Mexican people? You know, we need to think about that too, and that's part of the issue with having open arms in the border to Mexico. It just makes gun trafficking a lot easier.
Look, I can't argue with anything that you've just said. You know, I mean, one of the things that one of the things that the right enjoys is to keep its people uninformed. And in fact, Trump has said it straight out. It's not like Trump is informed himself, but he has said it straight out. I love stupid people. And I'm not calling you guys stupid. Your Führer is calling you stupid. I am not. Your Führer is. And that's what he does. I would like every American citizen that's living in Southwest Texas and living in the Southwest, meaning Utah, Colorado, Arizona, California, all these places. Read the Guadalupe Hidalgo Treaty and specifically read Section 8. Okay? The Guadalupe Hidalgo Treaty, Section 8. Because a lot of people always look at, let's talk about Mexicans now. They look at the Mexicans all in the Southwest and they're like, hey, go home, go home. There's a treaty, brothers and sisters. They've been there. The border moved. And the promise when that border was moved under Guadalupe Hidalgo was that these people were entitled to their land even as the border moved, and entitled to their citizenship even as the border moved, and entitled to their wealth even as the border moved. But as time goes on, we have a tendency as the United States of America to not honor treaty. Ask those people who are indigenous, the different tribes who have signed treaties. We always want people to abide by what we say, by the treaties we sign. But when it comes for us enforcing the treaties on our side, like I tell people again, read the Guadalupe Hidalgo Treaty. Anything else, Fabian?
No, that's it. Again, thank you for everything.
You have a wonderful day, sir. Anyway, folks, let's go ahead and go on to Brother Tag. Folks, I'm still waiting for my second contribution. Like I said, the first one was somebody who just didn't want politics done right to end with a donut hole, for which I thank you so kindly for saving that embarrassment. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, Ravi. But could we get some more to say, you know what, we are going to support this program that is out there working towards making sure that we're informed. Tag, you're on, my brother.
Good morning, Egberto. How are you, buddy?
I am doing fine, brother. Talk to me.
Let's get you another couple donations here before we go to Amy Goodman.
Thank you, brother.
How's that sound?
I like that pitch that you just did for me.
There you go. Yeah, and it's nice to get the extra 15 minutes for your show to go on here. I appreciate Sandy letting us do that. I just wanted to mention real quickly, kind of dawned on me this morning, that we have a political party here that seems to want to tear down our federal government. They would just like to strip it right down to the frame and start over again. And I think once you start understanding what's going on in our national politics here, it helps to understand that these people, they don't want any vestiges of the old government left. They would like to start over, but they have no plan to start over. And I think it's kind of a shame that we can't all get on the same page and work around the edges and fix the things that are broken with this government that we have, rather than wanting to try to do a frame-up restoration on our government. It just, if you got to drive your car to work every day, you can't do a frame-up restoration on it. You need to keep that car running. So you replace the tires, you fix the lights, whatever you got to do, but you keep your car running. You can't tear it down. And all the Republican presidents have done that. Bush did it. He tore it down to the frame. And then we had to have Obama come in and start over again with our federal government. Biden did the same thing. We had a terrible problem with the federal government after Trump, and Biden come in and he rebuilt the government from the frame up. And I think people got to understand, do you really want to see our government tore down to the frame again? We don't need that. We need to continue to build on this government and have a better government than what we've had. So
let me tell you, Tag, I think it's important for people to take Project 2025 a bit seriously. The idea is, yes, they do want to bring down government, but it's bring down government for a purpose. What they want is and this has been their modus operandi for decades. They want a tiny government to protect their resources. In other words, they want a strong military, but a small government on social construct. But that says now, they want the private system to handle everything. That is why they want to transfer from Medicare to Medicare Advantage. In other words, that is where the private sector handles it. They want to transfer by having the NASA run by private companies, whether that be Boeing, Elon Musk, or Jeff Bezos, right? That is everything. If you take a look at the directionality, it's always to take things out of the government and have the billionaires, the private sector, which is run by capital, take care of these things. But whenever that occurs, what it means is you as a United States citizen don't have any agency. You have agency in your government. Your government doesn't do what you want. You fire them by electing other people. Jeff Bezos don't do what you want. Tough luck. The government is in bed with Jeff Bezos, and they're the ones sending the rockets to space. Look at where we're at right now. Right now, we are dependent on space. We're dependent on solely the private sector, not what it used to be at the time that I worked for NASA. Got to go, Tag, but you brought up a very important point, sir.
Yep, Betsy DeVos did the same thing with education, and now look at how Musk. He's a billionaire, off from shooting rockets. I mean, it's like we don't need to be pouring all that money into the private sector. So,
and the thing about it is, you too, sir. The funny thing about it is the technology that Musk is using and Bezos are using, all those technologies were developed by we, the people, the internet. These technologies were developed by our tax dollars, and then they sucker more money out of us to use that which we developed. It is just amazing. It is just amazing. Anyway, folks, 713-526-5738, extension number 1. We're still at only that one contribution. I know we can do better. Let's go to Brian, and then after Brian, we'll try to do some more pitching. Hold on. I tell you, Brian, hold on a second. Let me go to Sandy first. Sandy, come on in, and then I'll go to Brian.
Thank you, Egberto. Yes, we have Ravi to thank. And Ravi, thank you for getting us off the 0 on Monday morning. We need a couple of more people stepping up, preferably as a sustainer. If you can do $15, $20 a month, $5 a month, just go ahead and sign up. You leave it there. It's evergreen. That is until you say no more. It's matched with a $50 bill. We're still about $240 shy of our goal this morning. So 2 of you, just 2, at $10 a month will get us there. 713-526-5738, option 1, or kpft.org, Egberto.
Thank you so kindly, Sandy. Let's go to Brian. Come on in, Brian. How you doing this morning, my brother? Okay, there you go.
Okay. Yeah,
you're here.
I want to say thanks to. I want to say thanks to Rabbi for putting up the money. It's money well spent. Both of us. I want to say personal thanks to them.
Thank you very much, Brian. Talk to me.
Okay. Donald Trump has been charged with 34 felony counts, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you name one? Yeah, can you name one?
I can't name it just the specific count. I don't have it in front of me, but it all has to do with tax evasion and quite a few other things.
No, it's not taxation. It was falsifying government records.
Falsifying tax records, yeah. Yes. That's tax evasion.
But, no, that's not tax evasion.
All right, go ahead. Make your point, my brother. We're not going to go under semantics. Make your point, my brother.
Okay. No, it's an incorrect. All of it was incorrect. All right. Jack Smith was appointed. Only Congress can appoint someone in that position. I wish you would look it up. Look up the 34 counts. It's a duplication of one tax record. Just look it up, man. That's all you have to do.
Look, let me tell you this. Let me tell you this, okay? First of all, the Jack Smith is legal, and that's been supported by the Supreme Court many times. Now, that said, forgetting about that, Donald Trump did manipulate records, whether you want to accept it or not. The guy's a crook. Look, I mean, it's okay for you to support him. That's fine. But he's a crook. I mean, he stiffs people's money. That's who he is, Brian. I mean, it's not one person saying it. It's not 2 people saying it. It's people who have been affected by him. I'll tell you something, Brian. I don't know why so many people feel the necessity to support somebody like this. Let me tell you, Brian, I listen to you and you call in here every day. I respect you. And I'm not saying that facetiously. I genuinely respect you. Okay? Because you're an American citizen with your values, you call in here, you support the station, you support not only, and I'm not talking financially. When I say the station, I mean your voice support the station. I don't see how the hell, and this is, and I'm just saying this objectively, I don't see how you go out of your way to support somebody like this who doesn't give a damn about people like you. I do care about you. I don't see how you support somebody like him. I honestly don't. I don't see why sometimes you get mad at me for supporting you. It behooves me.
No, you've
It
never gotten
honestly
mad at me
does.
for you supporting me.
No, I don't say
Okay.
I don't. I said you get mad at me for supporting you. That's what I said.
No, you've never supported me. You've
I've
not
always
supported
supported you.
the idea.
I've always supported. Look, here, let me give an example. This is important. Let me give an example. You told me the work that you do. Remember that? You remember you told me what work you do as a working person? And I looked at you and I
Yeah.
said the policies I support is to make sure your money goes further and to make sure you are paid what you're due. That's what I said. That's what I support. But you know what Trump said when asked that same question? Nah, he's not into giving you more money. He's not into giving you overtime. He's not into any of that. I hate paying overtime. But you, brother Brian, who gets overtime when he needs overtime, is supporting a guy that doesn't support that. Brian, I got to go do a little bit more pitching and I need to thank a few more people. So
No,
thank you. So go ahead, real quick, Brian, real quick, real quick.
you do know that Trump supports no taxation after overtime. You do
Okay,
realize that, right?
let me give you the lie about that, okay? For the class of people that Trump
Go to
is
the other
saying,
caller. Look,
wait,
go to the other
listen,
caller.
Brian, after you make your statement, you have to give me a chance to answer, okay? Here's the deal, Brian. But, and I'm glad you brought that up because this is important. Brian said, "Oh, Trump said he's not going to charge taxes on tips." Let me tell you the fraud that statement was, and Kamala corrected it by saying she won't charge taxes on tips for particular workers, and here's the reason why. Most people who get tips, they don't make enough money to pay taxes on it anyway after they take their standard deduction. So to tell somebody who make tips, I'm going to give you a tax break is a joke. But guess what? If I go into my millionaire's broker's office and I say I'm tipping you $100,000, that is also tax free because the statement Trump gave was, I am not going to tax tips. So we have a new form of income now called tips. And rich people start getting a lot of their income via tips, don't pay any taxes on that. But that poor guy who says, I'm voting for Trump because he says no tax on tips, he wasn't going to pay taxes anyway. You have to understand how you are played. That's important. Thank you so kindly, Jason, for that contribution. Thank you so kindly, Kelvin, for that contribution as well. We still need a couple good sized contributions. But before I go here, let me throw it to Sandy, then back to the studio. Then we close this baby out. 713-526-5738, extension number 1.
That's right, Egberto. We're about $100 shy of our overall $300 goal for the program. So maybe one of you stepping up again at $10 a month as a sustainer, and we will be there. Kelvin, Jason, Ravi, thank you for getting us started this morning. We are trying to fund this station through the month, all the way through January. In February, we'll come back again and do another drive. But we're just trying to get through those winter months and keep 4504 Caroline Street, all the volunteers, with a place to go do radio, commercial-free media, Pacifica Radio in Houston, 713-526-5738, option 1. Egberto, thank you for what you do. Jack, Howard, thank you for what you do, and all those people out there calling in. Thank you for what you do, because the dialogue is how we reach understanding, and understanding leads to peace, which is what we need right now. Egberto, back to you.
Absolutamente so. Okay, let's go to the studio to hear some final words.
Oh, nothing here. Jack, what you got?
Well, I know that Haiti's sin is the slaves evicted the French. The punishment they live with is inflicted poverty. They stood up to power, and now power is extracting their vengeance on Haiti.
Thank you for that, Howard. What a lot of folks don't realize is Haiti, for several decades, had to pay France for the liberation, for the slaves that were no longer slaves. It's amazing when you think about it. Anyway, folks, give us a call, 713-526-5738, extension number 1. Donate whatever you can, and please remember to tell them it is for Politics Done Right. Likewise, you can go to kpft.org, kpft.org, hit that donate button, select Politics Done Right as the program you're supporting, and please support us however you can. Folks, we cannot survive without you. Anyway, love all my callers, love all my listeners. I don't care what part of the spectrum you are. We are, in fact, family. You are my brothers. You are my sisters. Okay? And I mean that from the depths of my heart. Remember the rest of the show. Several videos that weren't shown is at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. Folks, please support the program. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right, and you know how I end this baby. I am what? Out.
And that's a wrap for Politics Done Right. We now join Democracy Now! In Progress.
Surgeons in Gaza, orthopedic surgeons, no one knows his whereabouts until today. Dr. Hani